Welcome to the Vigorous Q&A. I'm Coach Steve, here to answer all your bodybuilding related questions. Today's question is from Todd, probably. What is your preferred method of removing body hair? I stopped shaving on my quads because it was such a pain in the ass. Now I look like a jackass, but my quads look nice. Okay. So I guess he trimmed half his body. All right. So I'm not an expert on preventing hair loss, but I am an expert on hair loss. Yeah, not through hormonal means, but through use of clippers. So all of this, I actually have a lot of hair, especially on my back. It's disgusting, but I'll save you the details. So I have hair pretty much everywhere. It's thin. It's not, it's not like bare status, but it's thick and it's a lot, especially on my hair and on my back. So I just use a trimmer and go to town. And going to town takes me about an hour. So you get, a clipper, an electric one, make sure it's chargeable or with batteries. Stand in the shower. Yeah, don't turn the shower on. You stand in the shower and you can wash away all the hairs when you're done. And just start, put on the podcast. Just start trimming. Yeah, okay. Face you have to shave. Yeah, so I use a Mach 3 razor for that. I use that as well for my You can fill in the blanks. And then, I do this I have to do twice a week because I don't like that intermediate long hair where you look a little bit like a capuchin monkey, like that short hair, the pointy ears. So I have to trim that twice a week. The body I do once a week, so it takes me about an hour. The back every 2 weeks usually, if I'm lucky, because I can't reach it, so I have to ask the wife. And sometimes the wife is not available to trim the hair, so you walk around with another extra week of increasingly longer back hair. It's things they don't tell you when you go on hormones. That hey, you start trimming your back hair, and then it starts growing more and more and more and more and more. So if you don't have any back hair, don't start trimming, because by trimming it will grow. Especially when you're on hormones. So if you don't have it, don't start. But now that I'm 36, I've been trimming for 10 years. Chest, abs, back. Yeah, it's a lot of work. All right, and then you get into areas like your armpits. This you'll have to use Veet. Like a chemical, some kind of chemical cream. So I put the cream on, put the other side, wait a little bit, 5 minutes, and then you use one of those spatulas to scrape it off. So you can't use a razor or a clipper in here because there's too many crevasses, and the skin is very thin. You see that? It's very thin skin. So you don't want to use a clipper on here because it's easier to clip yourself and you start bleeding and you get one of those dirty razor burns. So in here you use a chemical, like a Nair or a Veet or whatever. And just let it sit for 3 to 5 minutes and just scrape it off. And that works very well. Don't use that on the and the Yeah, don't burn a hole in there. It's not very pleasant. I'm not talking from personal experience. I read the insert and it said not to do that. I tried it on my chest one time. It didn't work. So in the hair of the armpits, you can use the chemical stuff. But on the the hair on the body, you'll still need clippers. For this, you can use a razor or clippers. I think that's pretty much it. If you want to do shaving, you'll either need to shave every week or do it like, let's say you have a photo shoot, you do it like the day before. Because what I've noticed that every time I shave, especially on the hamstrings, you get a little bit sweaty when you sit in a leather chair or you're always sitting on your hamstrings, right? And when you're sweating a little bit, especially in a hotter climate, it creates some sort of irritation. And because you're sitting on it, you have a tendency to get ingrown hair. So with other body parts, you don't notice that. So I can shave my entire body and not get any bumps or bruises or anything, except for on my hamstrings. And it's also because by the time I shave, I'm pretty lean, so you got a little crevasses and all that stuff. But because you're sitting on your hamstrings, you get like these razor burns and red spots, and it looks horrendous, and it stays for like 2 weeks. So if you do that frequently, if you shave your whole body frequently, then the skin in your hamstrings and glutes can get used to it. But if you do it once in a while, I would just do it the day before you need to get shaven, whether that's for a competition or a photo shoot. or shave everywhere else except for your hamstrings and shave that last. Because those razor bumps and burns and ingrown hairs are very high possibility. So just be careful with that. But if you shave every week, which is even more, takes even more time than using a clippers, because with the clippers, you get a little safety thing on it and it's gone. But with the razor, you make one mistake and you're bleeding. So, be careful when you do that. So you need a little bit more diligence when using the razor. But when you do it every week, you'll notice that your skin gets a little bit more accustomed to it, and it's less likely to get little bumps, red dots, or ingrown hair in your hamstrings or other places. Waxing, I tried it. It was painful as fuck. I did full body waxing one time. It took about 1.5 hours with one therapist, or however you want to call it, massage lady, EP lady. So, everywhere, and it hurts so bad, man. And then it still grows back. So I figured, okay, I'm going to do my back and my chest and then my abs, because that's where, it turns into a sweater after, I don't trim it long enough. So I figured, okay, I'm going to, take the root out and it's never going to grow back. No, it was just 1.5 hours of pain, and a month later everything was back just as thick like it was before. So I probably either need to do it every month for like 12 years straight, for all the roots and all the hairs to be removed, or I'm just going to have to trim every week, which is a little bit less painful and definitely a lot cheaper. And then you got the laser hair removal, which I've never done. My wife has done that, and I think she did like 12 sessions, and that's pretty permanent. Yeah, I'm not going to mention where, but it's impressive. Find a good laser clinic, because some of them, they use a laser beam that's a little bit too intense, and then you're left with pretty painful like burns. So if you want to do that, again, if you do it in a small area like the armpit, it's not going to be that expensive. But if you want to laser your entire body, that's going to add up. So another reason why I haven't done it. It's not having a little bit of body hair is not a crippling. So that's why I don't do the laser therapy or appealing frequently. I just use a razor or a clipper, and those clippers, they're like $10-15. Doesn't have to be super expensive. There are a couple good ones out there, like a super thin Phillips one, or like the trim to minuscule amounts, a little bit more pricey. They're also a little bit less wide, so they're maybe like this wide, so it takes a little bit longer to finish everything off, but they're usually pretty good. They break just the same, just as fast, just the same like the cheap ones, so I prefer to use the cheap ones, because every 2 years you got to replace it, and I don't like to spend so much money on electronics. That's just me, So if you're very vain and you want everything perfectly done, buy an expensive Philips or Brown body hair trimmer and get the job done. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. I hope that helps send you in the right direction of having super nice skin without hair. Reminding yourself that you're a Siamese cat, or very close to it, without all the skin folds. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's it. That's the end of the video. See you guys in the next one.